Welcome to Layer the Alchemist, where we discuss all things heavy metal and hard rock. On today's episode, another in my ranking the songs on an album series. This is where I rank the songs on a record from my least favorite to my favorite. And the album that I picked for today is Judas Priest, their 1982 album Screaming for Vengeance. A very big album for the band. The hit song, You've Got Another Thing Coming, be a massive hit for them, would be all over MTV. Following in their breakout success album, if you will, British Steel. Point of Entry, maybe a little bit of a misstep, although I do really like Point of Entry, but they kind of come screaming back with Screaming for Vengeance. Okay, so there are 10 songs on this album. The songs we're talking about here are, and I'm going to count the Hellion and Electric Eye as two separate songs. The Hellion, Electric Eye, Riding on the Wind, Bloodstone, Take These Chains, Pain and Pleasure. Side 2 starts with Screaming for Vengeance, You've Got Another Thing Coming, Fever, and Devil's Child. I'm going to rank them from my least favorite to my favorite. Number 10 for me is Fever. I do not like this song. You know, in fact, I'm going to say that a lot of times when people are ranking the Judas Priest records, this is very high up on the list. And I kind of, in my mind, you know, there's 70s Judas Priest, then there's 80s Judas Priest, then there's maybe 90s and where they're at today. And I do really like this record. I mean, I love this record. I don't think I've made a video about it yet. It was a special record for me. I was right at that age, 12 years old, just getting into heavy metal. This You've Got Another Thing Coming was all over MTV. There are some songs on this record that are really not that heavy and almost poppy. And most people would point to Point of Entry as being like they went way too like radio pop, maybe trying to get a radio hit. But there's really some moments on this album that are like that and maybe cross a little too far over for me. And Fever is one of them. I do not like the verse. I don't like the chorus. I don't like the lyrics. It's just way too radio pop-ish for me. I don't know, it does nothing for me. Never liked the song. Number 9 for me is Pain and Pleasure, and this is sort of along the same lines. It's just too. I sort of like the verse a little bit, the groove on from the guitar. The chorus is kind of cool, but just to feel the whole song. I don't like the lyrics. I don't like Rob's delivery on it. Just doesn't work for me. And again, it just isn't quite heavy enough for me. So it comes in at number 9. It gets above Fever because it has a little bit more of the riff in the verse, I guess, is a little bit cooler, and the chorus is kind of cool. Like it gets a little heavy in the chorus, but it comes in at number 9 for me. Number 8 is Take These Chains. This is actually a song written by a gentleman named Bob Halligan Jr. He would also write Some Heads Are Gonna Roll on the next album, Defenders of the Faith. And he wrote songs for a bunch of other rock and metal bands, and another one being Blue Oyster Cult. On the Club Ninja album, he wrote Make Rock Not War and Beat 'Em Up, my two least favorite songs from that record. And although I like Some Heads Are Gonna Roll, it's okay. The chorus is good in it. The chorus kind of lifts up. I don't really like the verse in it. It's not heavy enough for me. The chorus is pretty uplifting, and you know, you kind of get your fist in the air a little bit for the chorus, but it's just kind of not heavy enough for me. And these 3 songs at the bottom, they just kind of stand out for me. They're a little too, you know, I keep saying poppy, a little too melodic, not heavy enough. So like Take These Chains, Pain and Pleasure, and Fever, they drag this album down a little bit for me, to be honest with you. And I think this album a lot of times ranks very, very high on people's lists for Judas Priest. And for me, these 3 songs, sometimes I think, do you remember these 3 songs that are on this album? But there's other songs that are so strong that I guess, you know, maybe that's what people forget these and they remember the other songs that are really great. Okay, coming in at number 7 for me is Devil's Child. I love the groove in this. It reminds me of Grinder from British Steel, like that kind of the drums are playing really solid, straight ahead beat, and the bass is just kind of chugging along, while the guitars are playing this start-stop kind of rhythm thing. I like the chorus in it, but really what sells it for me is the drive of this, the Grinder feel to it. The main riff I think is pretty cool. Number 6 is the big hit from this album, You've Got Another Thing Coming. This probably drops down because I'm a little tired of hearing this. You know, I've kind of heard it maybe one too many times. It is a cool song. The feel of it is neat. It's kind of right in the pocket there, the way it's chugging along. I really like Rob's delivery in it. Oh, so hot, no time to take a rest, yeah. I love when he does the hang tough, ain't room for second best. I think Rob sounds really great when he's like, kind of really digging into the words and stuff, and he does it really well in this one. And the chorus is great. I mean, it's a great song. I actually think this comes across much better in the live setting. Every time I've seen them, especially with Richie Faulkner and the band, I love the way he kind of takes an extended solo and they just sort of jam out on that one chord while he goes off. I think it really adds a lot to the song. Okay, number 5 for me is Bloodstone. Love the chorus in this song. It's the way it just sort of, Rob is up there with his voice. It's very anthemic type chorus. I love the chugging feel of the verse and everything. It's got some really cool riffs in it. So number 5 is Bloodstone for me. Number 4, Riding on the Wind. A really cool drum intro. This is really the second proper song on the record, if you count Hellion and Electric Eye as one song. I love that drum intro and the way it comes in really aggressively. This is, like, to me, sort of classic 80s Priest type sound, just killer riffs all around. Rob's vocal delivery way up high in his range, really driving. I love when Priest is doing this kind of feel. I wish there was more stuff with this sort of energetic, you know, driving heavy metal on this record. But as it stands, that's number 4 for me. Really great one. Number 3, Screaming for Vengeance, the title track. This is sort of a little bit in the same world as Riding on the Wind. It's aggressive, it's fast, it's got killer riffs in it. Rob's delivery is awesome. I love the lyrics in this one. You know, Judas Priest's lyrics starting in the 80s would sometimes be a little bit questionable for me. In the 70s, I thought their lyrics were great. I think that unfortunately in the 80s, maybe trying to get a radio hit or something, they sort of dumbed down some of their lyrics. But not always the case here. This song, I love the lyrics in this one. Rob showing off his vocal range and everything. Fantastic song. Number 2 is Hellion. You know, I think of Hellion and Electric Eye as the same song basically, but this is such a cool album opener. It's such a cool concert opener when they start their concerts with this. It's amazing. It's very epic sounding. I love the guitar, the melodies in it. It's so bombastic and great. And then it leads into my number. I love the way the chords just sort of end in a little feedback sound, and then it goes into my number 1 favorite song from this album and one of my favorite Judas Priest songs, Electric Eye. This is just such a cool song. Love the lyrics in this one, this sort of sci-fi. We're being spied on by the robots and the, you know, whoever, people in outer space or whatever it is. And just the riffs in it are absolutely killer. And I love the chorus in this song. The way it sort of like drops down, it's like it changes key or something. And it just, the way the chords are in the background, it's so catchy. The way Rob's delivery in it, and the spot where I see that I'm probing all your secret rules. You know, it's like there's some effect on Rob's voice that is just awesome. The guitar solos in it are great. It's an amazing, amazing heavy metal song. This is one of these songs that when people don't know anything about heavy metal, I'll sometimes play this song for you because it just embodies kind of everything that I love about heavy metal. The riffing, the vocals, the catchiness. You want to put your fist in the air. Fantastic, fantastic song, and my favorite song off this record, Electric Eye. Okay, there you go. There's me ranking the songs on Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance. You let me know down below. You can rank them, or maybe let me know what your favorites are on here. Let me know what your least favorites are. What do you guys think of Fever, Pain, and Pleasure, and Take These Chains? Let me know in the comments down below, okay? And until we see you again, make sure you stay heavy, stay metal.